Hey guys, today I'm going to bring you 10 tips for the new game Absolver. So I've played this game quite a lot in the time it's been out, and I was also in the second beta wave a few months ago, so I've played it quite a lot then too. So yeah, I thought it would be interesting just to share what I've learned about this game so far, so I'm going to give just 10 quick tips about the game. So my first tip is to upgrade stamina first, and I say that because I think it's the most important out of all of the traits. Um, as even if your damage is really high, you won't do very well if you can only hit somebody about 5 times before you run out of stamina. Also, it controls how much you block, which is crucial. So if you're holding block down and then they hit you, the more damage it does, the more stamina you'll lose. And if you upgrade stamina first, then you'll be able to block a lot more, which is very useful. And also, you'll almost never run out of stamina, so you can just hit them constantly, which is very useful for the game. So, on to tip number 2. Use your fighting style's ability to your advantage. So, your fighting style's ability is, for example, if you're playing Windfall, it's Avoid. For those of you who don't know, Avoid is the little kind of quick slide that you do when you swipe your mouse left or right when playing a Windfall character. Um, it helps you dodge things, like just general attacks, and it's really useful to use because it's the only class that has an ability like this, and since every class has different abilities, it's really useful if you can use them as much as possible. So yeah, use each style's unique ability as much as you can. It really helps you during the fight. So, tip number 3. Don't underestimate your light attacks. Light attacks are your left click on PC and I think your left trigger on console. And often you'll just think of them as mostly a poke, but they're very fast to perform and really easy to combo. So if you can string a lot of light attacks together, you can easily drain someone's HP. And you'll often just really want to go for those right clicks or those heavy attacks, but those are quite slow. And even if they do more damage, sometimes you can just get a lot more damage out of the left clicks, because if they're really fast on their feet and they just block them really easily, or dodge them because they have a lot of time to prepare for them. So yeah, use your light attacks to your advantage. Use them a lot. So that brings me to tip number 4, which is chain your attacks. And now this might seem really obvious, but chaining attacks is really powerful, because if you can chain attacks so well that they don't have time to dodge or block, then you've most likely won the fight. Chaining attacks is something that comes with practice, so don't worry if you have trouble right away. So yeah, chain your attacks and try and just really make sure that they don't have time to react, or that they just can't block them. Okay guys, so my 5th tip is to not be afraid to run away during a fight. If the enemy has you really low on HP and you have your heal ready, if you have enough shards to perform heal, then your best move would be to run away and heal, or either go right away and boost your healing by hitting them, or just to wait it out, because even if you don't hit them at all, it's way better than getting hit and having your healing stopped. So yeah, if you're in the middle of the fight and you're low and you can run away, you should. Okay guys, so tip number 6. Make sure when you're healing, they can't attack you. So if you're healing and they hit you, then it'll instantly stop your healing. You won't be able to heal anymore. And so it's important that when you're healing, that they can't attack you and just stop all your healing. So when you're healing, try and get behind a corner or something, or like if they have the skill Gravity equipped, make sure they don't have line of sight so they can't use the skill and then stop you from healing. So yeah, if you go behind a corner and then heal, and then just either wait it out or go in and fight, then you'll probably have a much better chance of getting your healing out. Okay guys, on to tip number 7. Get environmental kills. So if you're on a map that has a pit or cliff, like the 1v1 map that's just a big cross in the air. Um, if you're on a map that has a pit or a cliff that you can knock them off, try to do it. It's a lot easier to knock people off because no matter what HP they are at, they'll die. Using the skill Shockwave is also an easy way to push someone off a cliff. Just kind of bait them to the edge, then get on their opposite side and push them off with it. This will probably only work like once or twice though, because they'll start to figure out what you're doing and try and avoid it. It's also important to make sure that you're not going to be knocked off and you're not being baited out. Okay, so my 8th tip is to not impulse use your weapons. So just because you have enough shards charged to use your sword, it doesn't actually mean you have to. In some situations, it's a lot more useful just not to use your weapon at all. Or just to use your shards for a different ability. So if you're in a fight and you have just enough shards ready to use your sword, and you're also low HP and you have heal equipped, then it's probably more useful, unless you know that you could, if you pull the sword, that you could kill them without being hit. Then it's more important to just run away and heal, because your health is more important than your damage. Okay guys, number 9. Fight with friends, because it's much easier to beat the bosses and the marked ones with friends. So when you're in game, you actually have there's a social tab. You can go to recent encounters, and you can also group up with your Steam friends. So if you do this and then you fight your bosses, then essentially you have double the health pool and double the damage. Also, if your friend dies, then you can easily lure the boss to the opposite end of the arena, and then just run to your friend and revive them. This is an easy way to just to kill a few bosses. The only thing that doesn't work about it is that you can't do the first boss or the twins or the last boss with it, because you have to enter an arena and you can only do that by yourself. Okay guys, so finally we have tip number 10. My final tip is not just to use armor because it has high protection value. So as you get better at dodging attacks, you'll most likely think of heavy armor as more of a nuisance, and it'll be beneficial to take it off or equip lighter armor. And that way you'll be faster on your feet and it will make it easier to dodge and avoid attacks. So at the beginning of the game, it's really easy to just pick up some armor and then notice that it has higher protection than your current armor and just kind of put it on and then do that for every piece of armor that you find. But it's really useful if you're playing a character like Windfall that is highly reliant on movement, that you equip lighter armor even if it costs you the protection value that you don't get. So yeah, guys, it'll help you avoid and dodge attacks, and therefore help you in the long run. Okay guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you'd like to see more Absolver content, then like the video and comments, that I know you enjoyed it. Yeah, thanks.